Islamist rebels in Syria are heading towards the central city of Homs as they seize more territory from government forces. Footage circulating on social media appears to show them advancing towards Homs, which is Syria's third largest city. They've already taken the cities of Aleppo and Hama since launching their surprise offensive earlier this week. Capturing Homs would bring them a step closer to seizing the capital, Damascus. Journalist Berivan Resol joins us now from the city of Qamishli in northeastern Syria. So great to see you. Thank you for joining us on DW today. Now, HTS is leading the rebels. What do they say about their end game here?
Thank you. Let's go back to the Abu Muhammad Jolani interview in CNN. So according to Abu Muhammad Jolani, the militant leader of the main group driving the country's armed opposition under the name of HTS, the goal of the Syrian rebel coalition is ultimately to overthrow authoritarian President Bashar al-Assad. Do you hear me? Is my voice clear?
Yes. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Jolani says in his interview, and he was showed like he is operating less like wanted man and more like a politician. And Jolani says that he had gone through episode of transformation through the years. He said a person in their 20s will have a different personality than someone in their 30s or 40s, and certainly someone in their 50s. This is the human nature. Actually, I think he is giving the best picture of himself, and he is justifying himself because he was in the past member of the Islamic State.
Mm-hmm. The HTS are not a new player in this conflict. They're trying to sell a more moderate picture to the Syrian people. What can you tell us about how people in the captured territories feel about the group?
You mean in the captured territory?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Actually, people, the scene is complicated because when you talk to some people, you can find that they are, you can feel they are relief and joy from their speaking about the rebels, and you can see some people who are afraid and who are worried about the airstrike. And some others are afraid and feel fear from the ISIS to come back to the scene once again, and what may be exactly coming from the rebellions. So you can find people who are very joyful and feel joyful and relief to their comes, and some are very afraid of their coming to the captured territory.
You say,
but as for, let's talk about the minority, and
because they might feel different. Yes.
As for the media office of the SDF announced that there is about 100,000 people who are trapped in Shahba region. They are trapped there, and they are Kurdish. Actually, they want to move and to go back to northeast Syria, but they are trapped. They cannot, and rebels didn't let them to get out of the Shahba region. And also, there are a lot of people who try from the northeast Syria who are trapped and stuck in the region of Homs and Damascus. They are afraid of rebel to enter Damascus as well.
That's journalist Berivan Resol in Qamishli in Syria. Thanks. Let's dig a little deeper on the bigger picture. Sara Stachelhaus joins us. She's a Middle East expert with the Heinrich Böll Foundation. She's in Berlin. Sara, let's start with the latest. Turkey has just confirmed talks with Russia and Iran over Syria in Doha on Saturday. Do you think talks can achieve anything?
Thank you for having me. We're seeing that the rebels have been advancing quickly in the past 24 hours. As it was mentioned, Iran and Russia are much weaker than in the past when they came to the aid of Assad and his regime. So there's limited capacity from their side. Personally, I would not count on these talks coming in time and leading to meaningful results. In any case, we will hope for talks, but talks or negotiations for civilian transition and for return to the UN resolution 2254.
Aleppo and Hama, and now the rebels are reportedly heading towards Homs. How big are these defeats, not only for Assad, but also his allies, Russia and Iran?
They're pretty big. The capture of Hama was quite important yesterday, as Hama is the fourth biggest city in Syria. Now, Homs is seen as a turning point. Homs is a traffic hub in Syria that connects Damascus to its coast. The coast is important for the trade, and it's where the Russian naval bases are. Interestingly enough, the people from Homs are fleeing towards the coast rather than towards Damascus, which gives us an indication of the outlook that the people have on the ground towards the stability of Damascus.
Absolutely. You've been observing the situation in Syria for quite some time, of course. What does past experience tell us about how Assad and his allies might respond?
Well, that's where a lot of the fear of Syrians is coming from, because the responses have been very harsh in the past. 90% of the deaths in the Syrian war are caused by Assad and its allies, Russia and the Hezbollah. 500,000 people, more than 500,000 people, were killed in Syria. And now yesterday we saw the Minister of Defense of Syria say that they withdrew south of Hama to protect civilians and to prevent a battle inside the city. Considering that they've never done much to protect civilians, that's quite an ironic statement, also after seeing how they left Aleppo on Friday without any evacuation orders that I'm aware of.
So do you think they're just themselves trying to get out of harm's way?
The Syrian army is in a desolate state. They withdrew before from Aleppo, said they would regroup to defend. Now they withdrew again. I think the next days will be quite important to watch.
The UN Secretary General says the escalation in Syria is the result of a chronic collective failure of diplomacy. Now, in your opinion, what would be the next move for those who really want to see a political solution in Syria and for civilians to live in peace, finally?
It is time to bring all actors back to the negotiation table. The political process has been quite sidelined in the past years with no meaningful progress and stalling by the regime. It is time to get back to this UN resolution 2254, to push for a political transition, and also to put pressure through the formal and informal channels that exist to HTS to push for civilian transition in the areas under its control and for the protection of minorities.
That was Sara Stachelhaus. Thank you so much.
Thank you.